And this time, I want to turn it over to Kyle to talk about internet on the go. How do you get access to all these services that are hosted online while you're not sitting at a computer or while you're not, well, not sitting at your desk at home or in the office.
Thanks, Kevin. Let me grab that. Is my mic okay?
Yeah, you're
okay,
good.
so far we've talked about keeping your company running, making sure that you have a current backup. We've talked about collaboration tools and communication tools that let you meet with people, do video conferencing, phone conferencing, that type of thing. We've talked about going to the cloud. What does that mean for your business? How can you utilize and leverage some of these services to save money and also increase efficiency and that type of thing? The one trend, though, throughout all of these things that we've talked about is the internet. Every single thing we've talked about, you need internet. Comcast talked to you about having internet at your office, at the home, making sure you have a good connection, something stable. And I'm here to talk about when you're not home. What happens when you're on the go and you're not lucky enough to be in a place with Wi-Fi or something like that. So let's talk a little bit about connected on the go and mobility for small businesses. So like I just said, right now it's essential. You've moved to the cloud, you're utilizing cloud services, you have to be able to get online almost all the time or else you're not getting anything done. You need to connect to your applications and your services. But the good thing about it is that it's 2011 and it's pretty easy to actually get it done. Now, how do you actually do this? Most of us in here have iPhones, Blackberries, Androids. We have some kind of smartphone that lets us get email, access the mobile web, and use some kind of application. We have laptops. The thing about laptops is pretty much the same, but you have more flexibility. You can use more powerful applications with more features. And you can also use your specialized line of business applications. So if you have something special for your business, sometimes you need a laptop. A smartphone or a tablet isn't going to cut it for you. And so these are the ways that we're getting online these days. So the first thing I want to touch on is one of the most popular options is a Wi-Fi hotspot. You're running through town. You need to get on a meeting very quickly. You need to check your Google Docs, your Office 365. So you stop at a coffee shop, a cafe, a bookstore, and connect to Wi-Fi. Normally, you need to sign in some way. They pop a little portal page that says you're connected to X, Y, and Z Wi-Fi. Click here to accept the terms and conditions, which is fairly painless. But the one thing you want to keep in mind all the time is that you're sharing this internet connection with everybody in the room with you, similar to what you're doing right now, right? And so you want to make sure that you're careful about how you actually access your applications and what applications you access. You might not necessarily want to log into your stock trading application at Starbucks to make a trade because somebody else might be doing something not so nice on the network. So you just got to be mindful of what exactly you're doing and how you're getting your business done. Now, there are ways to get around this. It's a little technical, but some of you might have heard of something called a VPN. Does anybody know what a VPN is? Have you heard about that? All right. A VPN, for everybody else who doesn't know, essentially what it is, it provides a tunnel normally straight into your office. So you might be online, but you connect directly to the network that's at your office. And it's a completely secure connection, and you can normally access all the data that's at your office and that type of thing. What's great about that is that it's encapsulated, it's protected, and then normally you can do more secure. You have more secure access. The other thing is mobile broadband. All right, so most of us have data on our actual phones, right? And most of us have these 3G phones, 4G phones. They're fast. It's almost, not quite, but it's almost getting as fast as your Comcast connection at home or your internet connection at home. It uses a cellular network to connect to the internet, and all the major providers have a solution for it. Initially, the big array was this USB modem. It was a little stick that you would plug into the side of your computer to get online. And what you would do is you'd plug it in. You'd have to set it up with the software and log in with your account and that type of thing. And the disadvantage is that you can only get one device on at a time. You plug in your laptop, but that's the only thing that you can use. but that's a great solution. What's more popular these days is something called the mobile hotspot. And what's great about it is that you just saw in this commercial is that you can get multiple people or multiple devices online at the same time. So let's say you do have a small team and you guys need to get online to get that final, revised final presentation. You guys can all connect, get online using your laptops, your smartphones, your tablets, and get connected that way. Connects multiple devices, like I said, and it normally, I'm sorry? We're going to get to cost in a second. Simple Wi-Fi connection. So what's great about this is that any device that you have that has Wi-Fi, which is almost everything these days, can use one of these devices. All right, so we just had that MiFi mobile hotspot thing, but these days, a lot of phones are coming out with that very same feature. So if you don't need like a dedicated device or you don't use it as often that you want to have a dedicated device, you might have a phone that allows you to create a little mobile hotspot for you. Like I said, it requires a cell phone. One of the downsides is it does tend to drain your battery very, very quickly. So it's not something that you want to rely on unless you have an internet, a power connection. But it is super convenient, right? You don't have to remember, did I bring my modem or my hotspot? You have your phone, you always have your phone, so you have internet for your other devices, right? So here are some considerations about getting online while you're on the go. It can cost you an additional $30 to $60 a month depending on who you go with. So it can get pricey. And we're talking about on top of your regular cell phone bill. You're already paying $60 a month for it. So it depends on your needs. If you need it, and this cost also depends on how much data you get, how fast it is. There are different considerations here. But just keep in mind that you're talking about typically another $30 to $60 per month. And it's a cell phone company, so you're typically looking at another 2-year agreement contract with them. The other thing is that your data is not unlimited. I don't think you can find any providers at this point that are giving you true unlimited data. And what that means is that almost like your cell phone minutes, remember when you used to go over your minutes, they used to hit you with another $10, $15 a month? It's the same concept, but for data. So if you use too much of the data, and typically the limit is about 5 gigabytes. And 5 gig is a lot. You can do a lot of emails, you can do video conferencing with that. But if you're using it as almost like a sole data connection, you could blow past that pretty quickly. But normally, your cap is about 5 gigs, and it can cost you an extra maybe $10 per gig once you go over your plan. So you could rack up that bill really quickly if you're not looking at it. Like I said, there's extra charges for going over the limit. And most of the providers are really great. The applications and the software that they use and management portals allow you to see what your usage has been for the month. So you can actually kind of track yourself or monitor yourself to make sure that you're not going over your cap. And for the most part, that's getting connected on the go. That's mobility. Does anybody here actually use like a mobile hotspot, a MiFi device, or a USB modem? Yeah. What do you think?
I think it's great. I think it's great. Great mobility and allows you. I've got the Sprint 4G network, and I think it's a lot of time I'll use like a Wi-Fi connection or whatnot, and depending on what I'm doing, if I feel like the speed is not. I'm not downloading stuff a lot as fast as I would.
Right.
I would just, plug in and use their 4G network. And it's always been up to speed as promised.
Right. So it's great in a clutch. You need to get online and you can't find a Wi-Fi hotspot somewhere. It's great to have this as something to fall back on so that you're not stuck out in the cold or in the dark without internet. Any other thoughts about mobile internet? Questions about? Baz, I know you were worried about cost. Did that cover some of your concerns in terms of?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, is there any way we can get around having to pay for something that you already have? Because we're paying twice for the package.
Isn't it? Yeah, that's unfortunately that's true. And I think what Basil is referring to is that he wants to get around paying for something twice. And I think what he's referring to is the fact that, like I said, your phones kind of already have this data on it. You're paying for it already on your phone. And what the wireless carriers are pretty much saying is, well, it's different. When you're on your phone, you can't do as much. And so if you're going to be using it on your laptop, you're getting more functionality. And so they charge you extra for that functionality. Even if you're just tethering it, If you notice in that little break, they said you have to have the Verizon mobile hotspot plan and the subscription and that type of thing. And unfortunately, right now, there's not a whole lot you can do, but there are some providers, if you look around, you can actually do prepaid data. So if you don't want to get on that contract, you don't want to commit to that $30 to $60 a month, you can do prepaid if your usage isn't very high. And so that's another option. And some of the smaller providers tend to have better options, the Virgin Mobiles and that type of thing. Question? Yeah.
Does it make a difference what type of phone? Like, I know you have the.
Get the mic.
Does it make a difference what type of phone you have? I know you have the LG Droids that are coming out now. You got the Droid X's. And
Right.
does it make a difference which caliber of phone you have that would tether best?
Do the Wi-Fi how? Well,
Right.
okay, so that's a pretty good question. These days, almost any modern smartphone, for the most part, supports that feature. All the iPhone 4 support it. All the latest Droid phones support it. BlackBerries have supported it since before they had mobile hotspots. You literally would plug your BlackBerry into your laptop, and it would work that way. Typically, what the limiting factor actually is your carrier. So you might actually have a phone that supports that feature, and your carrier will say, oh, well, we don't actually offer that because we don't have a plan to go with it or something like that. So when you're shopping around, definitely ask. But most new phones do support that, and it's just a matter of, does your carrier have a plan for you?
Question over here.
Yep.
It's actually just a quick comment. So one of the services that I absolutely love is called Boingo. One of my friends in Sweden recommended it to me. He's also a university guy. And from hotels to just
airports.
It's $10 a month airports. I mean, I've saved a lot of money using Boingo, and it's global. It's an amazing service for $10 a month. And if you don't want to walk around with a Wi-Fi device for $60 a month, I recommend you get a Boingo account. And what's lovely about it is I have family all over the world, and those cheap people log in and use my account all over the world because you can log in simultaneously. So I've actually sent the login to my entire family, and they'll be in airports from the Caribbean to Europe, and they're logging in going, thank you, it's great. And I'm going, yeah, but you need to pay me $2, but that's another story.
Okay, so really quickly.
So just to wrap
really
up,
quickly what Boingo is, and it's B-O-I-N-G-O, Boingo. B-O-I, yeah, B-O-I-N-G-O. So just really quickly, what Boingo is actually is, it's a service, like you say, you subscribe to it on a monthly basis, and it actually provides you access to Wi-Fi hotspots worldwide. And so you will typically find these hotspots, like Miko said, in hotels, a lot of times in airports, sometimes just even around metropolitan areas and that type of thing. So if you don't want to have like that cellular contract plan, and you don't want to have to find a Starbucks or a Panera to get online or something like that, that's also an option for getting online while you're on the go.